okay, so that was it pretty much. So they're talking about Hi-Fi Rush. You have Mike here who's saying that why didn't they market it? Why did they shadow drop it? It was a great game, and that probably hurt it. You have Jeff here, Jeff Grubb, saying that they didn't make the money that it needed to make, despite getting good reviews. And that when they launched the game, he would have disagreed with them. And I think most people like myself, when they shadow dropped Hi-Fi Rush, and you saw how popular it got instantly because of how great of a game it was, I thought it was an excellent decision by Xbox to do that. I thought it was a great surprise for the Xbox platform, where you got this game, you go check it out on Game Pass. And then we saw articles like this come out where it says here that, as noted by games industry commentator Benji Sales on Twitter, the fact that Hi-Fi Rush is in the top 10, whereas Forspoken isn't, further amplified, whereas Forspoken isn't, is further amplified by the fact that Microsoft's game costs $30 on Steam and $70 for Forspoken. So Hi-Fi Rush actually outperformed Forspoken on Steam during the game's debut week, and it was half the price. So it made more money during the debut week than Forspoken, meaning it had to sell more than double the copies because it was less than half, right? So, or more than half price. So it had to sell more than double the copies of Forspoken to be making that same amount of revenue. So you would have thought, okay, so the shadow drop worked, word of mouth marketing worked. At the end of the day, if a game is good, a game will sell itself because people are going to talk about it and people are going to share it around. The hype is going to be massive, which is at times way better than when you show off a game, especially in today's day and age. How many times do they show off games? They look incredible. The game drops and it's like reduced greatly from what they actually showed off because they were probably showing it off on like the highest end rig PC that most people don't have, with settings boosted insanely. And then when they're going and developing it, they have to cut out a bunch of stuff so that it actually can be optimized to perform well on most people's PCs and on consoles. So it's just like a completely different looking and experienced game than you get when they first show it off. So I thought Shadow Drop was great, and everything is pointing towards it was a good move. Then you have Jeff Grubb here saying that they didn't make the money they needed to make, which caused just like an uproar and negativity and doom and gloom on the internet against Xbox. Just another misstep. And I think the reason why, more so than anything, well, I think there's two reasons. One, because of the 30 FPS thing from Redfall last week, that has everybody just in the most negative mindset, which is like, we got to move on. Like, if you're an Xbox fan, you got to move on past that. Everyone's criticized it. I know influencers like to say that like you have to hold their feet to the fire. You have to you express your opinion, you hold their feet to the fire. But when you're like, to think that $1 trillion company is listening to an influencer on what they need to do, an influencer with like 10,000 subscribers or something, like an influencer, I don't even consider myself an influencer whatsoever. I consider myself a guy with a mic who makes videos. To think that Microsoft is listening to a word that I say, to me, is just mind blowing. I don't know how people think that Microsoft is listening to some of these YouTubers out there. Crazy to me. I could be wrong. Maybe Phil Spencer is literally tuning into every podcast, every Xbox podcast, every Xbox YouTuber and taking notes of what they say. But you criticize the company, but the doom and gloom after that for weeks is because people want those negativity clicks. That's all it is. No matter, you can't really slice it any other way. I don't see, because you can see it. Like when you make a YouTube video, I can see it. You put out a video on a certain topic and people want to hear about that topic. You're probably going to make more videos on that. I mean, to be completely transparent, ABK stuff. You guys love the ABK stuff. The internet likes the ABK stuff. I get way more views on the ABK stuff. Now, to be fair, when I make an ABK video, at least I'm talking about something new, because there was always new information coming out. And in the last 2 weeks, it's been pretty dry. I think I've made like 2 or 3 maybe ABK videos. Next week's going to be huge on ABK, and I know people are going to want to hear about it, so I'm going to make those videos. So it's the same thing with the doom and gloom when it comes to Xbox. It's like they make a misstep, especially when it comes to Xbox. It's like guys just go hard nonstop, 10 videos, 5 videos, like holding their feet to the fire, talking about it on Twitter all day. It's like Microsoft, $1 trillion company, is not listening to the dude who has 10,000 subscribers talking about Xbox. It's just not happening. Unless I'm wrong, guys, you guys let me know in the comments below. But I do definitely agree. You got to criticize them when they make a misstep. And it all started with Redfall. So all of that to say, Aaron Greenberg came out quickly, which is like what he should be doing all the time when you have these crazy fake narratives going around. He says, HiFi Rush was a breakout hit for us and our players in all key measurements and expectations. We couldn't be happier with what the team at Tango Gameworks delivered with this surprise release. So boom, puts that to rest. Whether you think HiFi Rush didn't make the money or it doesn't matter. HiFi Rush was successful by Xbox's measures. And the proof is in the pudding here. Tango. So if their latest game, if it was an abysmal failure, why would they be going out and expanding their studio? So it says here, FYI, Tango Gameworks is expanding studios with almost 150 employees and opening another 30 plus new jobs. And you know, Tango is working on multiple games right now. Like there's definitely multiple games going on at Tango Gameworks. Like HiFi Rush was a small game. Ghostwire Tokyo came out, HiFi Rush came out. They were working on those together. So you're assuming they're making probably another 2 games right now. I would take a wild guess. There's probably 2 games in development, whether that's Evil Within 3, whether it's that rumor about that big JRPG and then something else new. There's multiple games in the work at Tango Gameworks, and it wouldn't be happening if they weren't relatively successful with the stuff that they have been creating.